Hello, this is Palm Sunday. I'm at the meditation garden. I know I'm supposed to turn this sideways, but I don't feel like it. So it was 4 years ago on Palm Sunday. I last saw my dad, and it had a major significance on me. I'm calling this the significance of April because so many things have happened during April. Given back to April '89, at the time we had our grandmother was living with us. Her health had deteriorated, so we picked her up. And back in '80, and I was living back in Arkansas at the time, so she moved into my parents' house. She passed away, died of a massive heart attack at the dining room table in my parents' house. And I was living in Van Nuys. I had just taken a hit of LSD 2 days before, so this is really a miracle. I do not know to this day how I was able to get the Western Union money from the Western Union, get packed, and get over here to Phoenix in 24 hours. The following day, I'm still coming down, but I went to Memorial, still somewhat flying. And I was passing her casket. I gave her a kiss. I told her I'd see her again. I felt really, really bad because a former minister is now a drug addict who was supposedly in recovery but wasn't doing too well. I know it was her prayers that partly kept me alive. So I will see her again. Her death affected me, but not the same way as one later on. Jumping ahead to '92, I got myself together enough to actually go to business school. I was learning computers, and that was my step into the world of technology and computers and making videos and so forth. As everyone probably knows, the Rodney King got beat up and the police brutality, and I had been at location. I was living 6 miles south of there. I was at school, and a martial law and tactical alert had been called, and I panicked so much I couldn't remember how to turn the computer off. So I took the bus back over to Van Nuys Boulevard, in the middle of San Fernando Valley. There were literally people outside with armed guns, and all hell was breaking loose. The National Guard was called in, and every store in my area in Van Nuys was hit in some way. Sometime during the week, I went up to Griffith Observatory. I looked over the city, and I saw my city on fire, which is one of the worst scenes I've ever seen into. It's the closest thing to war, the war zone that I ever wanted to be to. Anyway, that was '92. In 2012, a lady I met at Budapest '83, who became my adopted older sister, and who helped me big time when I was homeless to the crack. We've done everything together you can possibly imagine, and I knew her for over 25 years. In 2012, I was working for the Cancer Society. She had called me a few months before and told me she had breast cancer and had the surgery and chemo, and it was okay. I talked to her in January of 2012, and she said she was recuperating. Being I work for the Cancer Society, I found out that she passed away in April 2012, and it hit me like a lead balloon. What's even harder is I had to put the death notice on the computer. There's no way words to describe that. She's not the only one that I knew who died from cancer that I had to put down the death notice. It is heart-wrenching indeed. In 2013, I was still working with the Cancer Society. On April the 7th, I get a phone call. My dad had been rushed to the ICU, and he was at Banner Hospital, and I still, to this day, cannot go by there. It's the same hospital my wife was in 2010 for a broken femur bone. We were waiting for my brother to drive in from Little Rock, and outside of the major dust storm, and we were on the 10th floor. It was so dusty you could hardly see in front of you. I felt like I was in the storm of my life. And to a point, I still am. I was in there all hooked up with thousands of thoughts going through my head. As soon as my brother arrived and his wife, we had to make a decision what to do. So we moved into hospice. The only thing he was doing was breathing. It had a major brain aneurysm due to the medication that to prevent having another stroke. He nearly died in in March 2005. We had his third and worst stroke. So at least the medication gave us 8 more years with him. The night before he passed away, my wife and I slept at the hospice, and a hand came out of the sky. Still do not know it was a sign from God or a sign from my dad, but 2:40 p.m., April the 11th. I watched him take his last breath, and he went home. Why it's affecting me so much is because I was like people in the family. I don't know where normal life is. I didn't think I cared, but I care more than ever could put into words. I didn't realize this until it was too late. The relationship I wanted so bad, it never happened now. I had never gone through anything like this before, clean and sober. The only other time I remember crying too much was during 9/11, and when John Lennon got murdered, which also affected me. I had my fellow Beatle fans and my friends around, plus I was still getting loaded. The moment he passed away, it was to the song Amazing Grace, which I cannot play or listen to. It got so bad at the hospice, I almost ended up in the emergency room because the emotional toll was taken on me. It was my first sober memorial and the first sober funeral. I've had more firsts in my life in the last 4 years than ever in my lifetime. Felt more pain than ever in my lifetime. The moment that my dad was sent home, the emotional dam burst because I didn't feel I could have feelings or emotions really beforehand. feel like someone had taken my heart, was tearing it out inside. We have had a white dove show up out of nowhere at the gravesite. I've seen him, heard his voice, dreamed about him, and if there is two positives, is I learned how to make videos because my first video was a tribute to my dad, that we never known, and I've lost 60 pounds. I'm wearing this clothes right now, but the stress has been so bad. I'm trusting my higher power. He got me through. He's got me through for the last 4 years. I haven't. I have my good days and my bad days. There have been days I haven't thought about any of this, and there are the days I feel like my inside is being torn up. So I will be visiting my mom on the 11th, and we shall try to get through the day 1 minute at a time. For all those, I found out grief isn't just losing a loved one or losing somebody you know. It has to do with losing a job, dream, career, a house, anything. I've learned a lot through this process, but nothing can prepare me to be in the path that I've taken. I had no choice over. So God is doing for me what I cannot do for myself. I will not wish this on anyone, but I probably at some point most of us go through it. So before I totally lose it, I will sign off. And take care.